M3GAN is the latest film from Blumhouse Productions that follows a robotist who gains custody of her young niece after her parents tragically die. Unsure of how she will be able to actually raise this kid that she was not prepared to raise in the first place, she utilizes this lifelike robot that she named M3GAN that she's been designing for her job at a toy company to both help her niece cope with the death of her parents and also to give her a friend. But of course, since this is a Blumhouse film, you know that means that there are going to be unforeseen consequences to this, specifically the kind of self-aware, murderous android kind. When I saw the trailers for this film, I will admit I was not very interested in it. Honestly, a lot of people kept saying that the weird dance that she was doing in the actual trailers was actually what got people onto it. But honestly, when they showed that dance, it just made me not really care about the entire thing. But of course, I began to hear good word of mouth about it, so I figured I would check it out. But also, since I am now back with the channel, I figured that this would be a perfect opportunity to start that repetition of going out to the movies more and more, and also just help myself practice with my reviewing skills once again. And what better way to do that than with a low-budget genre film? Plus, this is my first review in about actually a little over 2 years at this point, as well as the first of 2023, so I'm already very excited about this part. And I'll tell you, actually crafting this review, just getting all the details in my head, I will admit I did struggle with it, but I'm sure it'll get better as time goes on. Now, let's get into the review. I'm going to go ahead and get the negative out of the way. So, since M3GAN was created as a toy, and her creator works for a toy manufacturer, I think it's safe to assume that we all just assumed that we would get some cliche stuff where, you see this in horror movies a lot, or just anything where something is created that is revolutionary, and they fast-track the development because they want to be able to dominate the marketplace, because all that matters is that we're the only ones that have this. And of course, things always go wrong in those departments. And that was never, that part was never in question as far as what was going to happen in the movie, at least not to me. But you can still potentially make those parts interesting, either by adding some depth or making some characters like that are more involved in the sidelines more interestingly written. But they all come just across as cookie-cutter business archetypes, particularly the CEO and his assistant. I felt like the stuff that focused solely on the business part of the thing that didn't actually have M3GAN or any of the two main or either of the two main characters in focus. Those parts just you could feel the pace slow down drastically. Or at least for me it did. I feel like a lot of people will be a little bit more bored in those scenes anyway. Luckily, this is a very minor complaint, as the rest of the film, spoiler alert, is actually fantastic. As I mentioned at the top of this video, the film's primary focus, other than M3GAN herself, is the robotist, I don't remember how you pronounce the fucking word. For Gemma, the toy manufacturer, robot maker, whatever, played by Allison Williams, and then her niece Katie, who is played by Violet McGraw. I first saw Williams, like most of us did, in Jordan Peele's Get Out, where she did a phenomenal job, and I was happy to see her in this film because I don't think I've seen her in anything else since, but she gives a really good performance in this film. She plays your typical working woman who focuses solely on her job, and all of a sudden she has to begin to make changes to accommodate this young girl that she never planned on raising. Even though she says in the film that that's what she always wanted, that she was basically the godmother the entire time and she did want that, you can tell that that whether she wants this or not, she's not equipped either emotionally or I don't know, intelligence-wise? No, that's not the right word for it. I'm trying to find a better way to word that. But basically, she's not prepared to do it, no matter how much she keeps trying to kid herself. And instead of... My cats are doing zoomies. And instead of putting in the effort to rise up to the challenge, she uses her skills and her knowledge to take a shortcut, basically. But I would say that the standout here is Violet as Katie. She first debuted back during Mike Flanagan's Haunting of Hill House back in, what was that, 2016, 2017? Or maybe I got the years mixed up. But either way, she's no stranger to the horror genre. And actually, fun fact for you guys, she has a sister, Madeline, who was just in last year's The Black Phone, a movie that I absolutely loved. So that family's definitely got some talent. As far as the main human characters, and notice I specify human, Violet is the one to watch out for with this. Her character has gone through plenty of trauma when we first meet her, and she goes through an entire gauntlet of emotions, and Violet performs each moment just perfectly, but especially the moments where her character is having an emotional breakdown. Those moments are where I'm most connected with the performance. As I've referenced before, the basic setup of what this story is not very unique. I mean, it's a little more in line with the Child's Play remake from a couple of years ago with Mark Hamill as Chucky, as far as that kind of genre of horror, but it's definitely better executed in every way. Is it groundbreaking? No, but it's really good, and the horror elements are also quality in and of itself. I'm usually a kind of person who hates jump scares, for two reasons. One, I'm still a pussy when it comes to anything scary. Like, even if it's not executed correctly, I'll still get scared. But I like most people, feel like jump scares are just the laziest form of horror. But I will admit, there were at least some good, effective ones in this one. One aspect that I enjoyed in the film that I wasn't really looking for them having, but I think it worked out in the end with the fact that they did put it in, was that the film tackled both overtly and subtly the idea of technology and our relationship with it, but particularly both the relationship that children have with technology, as well as a parent's over-reliance on said technology in regards to their kids. As I mentioned earlier, Gemma is using technology, this doll, this toy, to try and, yes, help Katie feel better after the tragedy that she had just been through, which is thoughtful in and of itself, but it's also selfish in many ways, because, I don't know, it made me think of how many modern parents that I've known who give their kids tablets or something else along those lines, and they just let their kids alone with them for a while so that they can get their own relaxation time and focus on their own work. And the film is obviously trying to tell us that there needs to be a balance, and M3GAN as a film showcases an exaggerated tale of this concept going wrong, with nuggets of realistic situations in it, especially when Katie doesn't listen to Gemma for some reason. The film actively calls Gemma out calls her into question morally, with a character actually asking if they should be making a toy like M3GAN, because the way that they've crafted her to be able to respond quickly and improvise, but also do things like remind them to flush the toilet, brush their teeth, wash their hands, stuff like that, that these things could render a parent obsolete. And we see this happen as the film goes on. Okay, I know I could have put this part in the first pro, but come on, this is too good to not have as its own point. The true reason to watch M3GAN is for M3GAN. I was wondering how I was going to feel about her character most going in. I mean, I had a feeling that the horror and the thriller and the slasher elements would at least be good. But would I be sold on this lifelike robot with big anime eyes that is very uncanny valley if you look at it too hard or just long enough? Well, honestly, yes. I was sold on her pretty early just by how she was written, but as the film went on and I got to soak in more of the physicality of the performance as well as the voice performance, and actually, speaking of which, I should at least acknowledge this part. I want to take a second to mention that M3GAN is portrayed by two actresses. Amie Donald did the proper physical performance with the assistance of digital effects on the face especially, and then you also had Jenna Davis, who did the voice. And both are just fantastic. Amie had a wonderful balance of terrifying, but also fairly friendly presence. Hi, cat. I swear, 2 videos in a row, you're gonna be famous. Look at that. Look at that. Say hi to all the people. Alright, I'll let you down. Go, 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 go. Amie had a wonderful balance of terrifying and also like a fairly friendly presence, whatever each moment called for. Plus, she was really great at the physicality of some of the kills. But the one thing that really struck me the most about M3GAN was Jenna. The moment that really won me over to her was a moment where Katie is having an emotional breakdown and thinking about her parents, and M3GAN was just trying to cheer her up. And I'm not going to go into the specifics, but even though I already knew what the film was leading up to with M3GAN, and she had already started doing some of those, let's just say, non-kosher things, the way that she went about cheering up Katie made her really endearing as a character, and it really didn't take me too long before I was really entranced by M3GAN as a character, just in general. And then after she did that scene that I just mentioned, she went off to do some even more fucked up things, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't look at her in a positive light. No. And I have to say this, since I mentioned Chucky earlier from the remake, this is exactly this is the version... No, this is what the version of Chucky from that movie should have been. In the end, M3GAN was a real treat of a film. I remember years back where months like January and February were just dumping ground months for movies for the most part. Although, there still tends to be some movies... I don't know what's wrong with my cats tonight. They're just doing a lot of zoomies. I'm hoping the smaller one will come in so I can show her off, but she probably won't. Oh well, another video for that. But January and February are usually ground dumping months, but that doesn't mean that they don't have some good quality movies. I mean, a couple of examples that I can think of is the first Paddington movie and M. Night Shyamalan's Split, and M3GAN is just joining them as yet another wonderful early year / January release. The main performances and the story are really good, and we have another great movie monster, I guess you can say, with M3GAN. And I wouldn't be mad if they found a way to continue the success in the future, as long as there's a legitimate reason to do a follow-up and it's not just a cash grab. But I've gotten to the point where I trust Blumhouse for the most part with this kind of stuff. Plus, hey, if they make another one and they're just doing it as a cash grab, at least it's only going to be like less than 20 million. Hell, sometimes it'll be even less than 10 million. So at least there's that. And the way I would end this is by saying that if you're a horror fan of any kind, or you've already seen Avatar: The Way of Water 5 times somehow, I still haven't even gotten to that point. I've seen it like 3 times, I think. And you want to see something else that's good and new, I highly recommend M3GAN as a film to watch during this month. Plus, the film is just over 100 minutes, so not too bad, not too long for those of you who hate long run times, you know, like Way of Water, or you have weak bladders. And that's the end of the review. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and just listening to my thoughts on this particular film. Hopefully everything went well. Like I said, I'm still trying to get used to talking on camera and also forming my the structures for my reviews. But as I said, hopefully that'll get better in the future. I don't know. Just give me, if you guys want, go put in the comments any kind of suggestions that you would have, or that you would have for me, and I'll see what I can do with as many of those as I can. Anyway, I sincerely appreciate you guys still checking out the video and just, you know, taking time to listen to what I said. Thank you very much for that. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also keep an eye out for any other videos that come up on the channel, because we will have new videos very soon. As always, farewell until the next video, all of you casual moviegoers and movie fans alike, and keep on being awesome, my friends.